Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Toast Time. I'm here this week, as always, with producer Courtney and my co-host Jackson. So, start with Courtney. Courtney, how you doing today?
I'm doing good. I'm in my hometown for the week, so I'm
Nice,
happy.
nice, perfect. It's always
Bet.
good to be home. Jackson, how's it going over there?
As long as the internet holds up, I'm great, dude. We'll see.
Yeah, we will see. Jackson's been having internet problems, and he might start having to strong arm some people over at the internet company real soon. But we'll see. We'll see. I may have to make a trip down south and help him out with this.
Yeah, I'll go to the internet company. And it's like, don't make me call my friend from Yonkers down here. You don't want that.
Yeah, no, they don't. They don't. I can assure you that. All right, so we'll get started here. So my pick for Buttery this week, we're gonna bring it back to the NFL, which is definitely gonna start getting covered more because free agency and the draft are right around the corner. But my Buttery this week is the Arizona Cardinals for landing J.J. Watt and significantly improving their defensive line. I mean, if you want to say there was really a big issue with the Cardinals last year, would probably be the defense, even though they have solid defensive players. A lot of the times their defense kind of failed them. Now, whether that be because those players really didn't have help, like Buda Baker and Pat Pete, Chandler Jones, didn't really have that much help. But now they got J.J. Watt. So now you got a defensive line of Chandler Jones and J.J. Watt. If I was playing in the NFC West, uh, I'd be scared right now, especially if I'm the Niners, because the Niners have a ton of concerns at O line right now. They got to re-sign Trent Williams. They don't know if they can even do that or if they want to do that. So I would say, at least if you're the Niners in this case, if you don't want to re-sign Trent Williams, well, get prepared for Jimmy tearing his ACL again, because he's going to be getting blasted.
Yeah, no, it's a smart move, I think, by Arizona because when you think about it, when you look at the way, there is a very good argument, and it may not even be an argument; it could just be a fact that the NFC West is the strongest division in all of the NFL. When you go team by team, like you can legitimately look at each one of those teams, and you could put money down and be comfortable that they could be a playoff team, all four of them. Now, more than likely, one of them is going to get left out. And last year, the Cardinals and, the 49ers due to injury. But 49ers should be fairly healthier-ish this season. Uh, Obviously, I'm also got to be afraid if you're Russell Wilson because that
Oh
man's
boy.
already been sacked 400 times in 9 years. Now throw in the fact that J.J. Watt is in the division now. So he's got to go against J.J. Watt and obviously Chandler Jones, too, twice a year. Aaron Donald twice a year, and then Bosa twice a year from San Francisco.
That's
And
rough.
it's crazy. And
That's real rough.
since you're on the West Coast, you're probably going to be playing other West Coast teams, which means you're probably going to play the Los Angeles Chargers, and they also have a Bosa on their squad, and they have a terrifying defense. So it is bad to be a quarterback in the NFC West. But it's a good move because if there's no really other big time free agents on defense that you want to go out and get, JJ Watt is obviously the biggest name. Then you spend that money on it. You can go a little bit more offense heavy in this draft. It's a fairly deep, receiver draft, so you can get some receivers, maybe some offensive linemen, just some other stuff to put around Kyler Murray, maybe fill in a couple holes on some of the defensive side. But you have to counteract the fact that you've got really great quarterbacks in that division. How do you do that? You spend money on a great pass rusher. So what does that do to someone like San Francisco? Puts them in a bind where they got a bunch of other holes they got to fill, but they don't want Jimmy G to go down. So like you said, they're going to have to see if they can find the money to sign Trent Williams. And if they do, they're going to have to spend a ton of money to re-sign him and not be able to fill in the holes that they need elsewhere on their team. It's 4D chess here that
Yeah.
the Cardinals are playing.
Hey, listen, they're playing chess. Everyone else is playing checkers.
All right, so my buttery pick this week, I'm going with us, the company. Vendetta.
Okay, good. I
Because we got we've got a deal, a legitimately good partnership with Symbol. And I mean, how does it get more buttery than that? I love the product. When Trey first talked to me about it, it was insane. Like, I was blown away by it, and we got a deal done. And, I don't, now we've got the articles that are rolling out. I know you've done one. I think Adam has done a couple, maybe. I know Alex, not producer Alex, OG Alex has done a couple now for the NBA. But this is huge. This is awesome for us. It puts us in front of a larger audience, and it's a nice partnership. And this is a Symbol is a company that's really young, but they're already building up a large user base. So I think it's going to be a great partnership from here on out.
Yeah, I love it. That idea. I was surprised I never heard of a company like them before.
Mhm.
I mean, hats off to them, but still, like, it was a great concept, combine your favorite sports team. So basically you just combine sports gambling and the stock market and put it into one. And I think literally anybody who follows me on Twitter knows damn well those are probably my two favorite things. So, like, you had me sold as soon as I see
I
that.
know.
I was like,
As soon as I saw who they were, I was like, dude, Anthony would love this thing. He's gonna eat this thing up.
That's my bread and butter right there.
I know. And again, I don't know what their plans are, because I think Trey was gonna ask one of the founders this, because he's the guest on That's Some Cheese, which by the time of this recording isn't up, but it should be up by the time that this goes up. But asking him, like, I would love to just also buy stock in individual players as well. We talked a little bit about that in the Slack, not just like teams. So it's like, I've got one in the Grizzlies right now, but what if I want one in Jaren Jackson Jr. or John Morant, or, you like the Bengals, so you put money in the Bengals, but then you also think Joe Burrow is going to win an MVP one year. So then you buy some stock in Joe Burrow, and his stock continues to rise, and he wins an MVP, and you could sell that out for some cash, and you get some dividends, like, depending on like goals and milestones that they hit or whatever. I don't know what they do for it, but it's still cool idea.
Yeah, I'd imagine that they probably that probably will be somewhere down the line. I mean, listen, I don't see why not. Because I'll tell you right now, imagine they had, like, let's say you could buy stock in players, and for example, you bought stock in Julius Randle before the season.
Exactly.
And what he's doing right now.
All-star.
All-star.
His stock would have gone through the roof, and he would have been one of the bottom of the barrel guys.
Oh, absolutely. Everyone in New York wanted his head last year. And now they're giving him MVP chance every time he touches the ball.
Yeah, and this Sunday MLB goes live too on the site.
Yeah.
So now you can buy stock in MLB teams. That is
about. I would buy stock in the Yankees just because I'm a diehard Yankee fan. The only problem is they are, I think, the top two most expensive teams. So
I think it's them and the Dodgers, right?
It's them and the Dodgers. So I'm going to be looking for like dark horse teams like last year's Miami Marlins, who ended up making the playoffs, which totally took me by surprise.
Marlins or the Rays that made it to the World Series.
Or the Rays. Although the Rays kind of falling off the bandwagon.
Yeah, I'm saying you need to find your Rays
like that.
You need to find that team that no one knows, and it's going to be the team. Even if they get smacked in the World Series, they made it to the World Series. You can sell that stock.
If I can do that with players in fantasy football, I can do that with teams. No doubt about it. So now we will move on to our burnt toast. And my burnt toast this week. Now, it's my favorite college basketball team. However, they are a dumpster fire this year. For basically lack of a better term, they pretty much are a dumpster fire. It's Duke men's basketball. Okay. You had all these 5-star recruits. I think you had about 3 of them, and it just has not worked out at all. Now, listen, if this wasn't a COVID year, I'm not saying that they would be, I don't know, they wouldn't be top 10, but if it wasn't a COVID year, I think they would be a lot better than they are right now. See, because how I thought about it, and it actually does make sense if you look at the teams that are at the top right now, like Baylor, Gonzaga, Michigan, and like Ohio State, Iowa. All those teams had at least 4 to 5 guys that were like sophomores going into juniors and juniors into seniors. So you had guys that already played with each other and kind of knew each other's chemistry and already had that built. The problem with the one and done schools, which is why you see all the blue blood programs this year, North Carolina, Kentucky, and Duke, basically all falling, they're all on for they're all dumpster fires. Like North Carolina came back a little bit, but Kentucky is terrible this year. Duke is a bubble team. I mean, when the hell has Duke ever been a bubble team? So I just think it's because all these freshmen came in, then it was all the COVID stuff. So they really didn't even get to train or do anything. They kind of just threw them into the season. Like they had, I think, maybe a week of practice, and then all of a sudden the season started. So, I wouldn't, as a Duke basketball fan, I'm not going to take this year to heart. It is what it is. Next year they'll be back fine. But if you do really look around, all the best teams are teams that have multiple like sophomores, juniors, seniors. None of the really good teams have like a starting 5 of all freshmen.
Yeah, I mean, I get that. Like you have someone like Keldon Johnson who comes in, and you could tell kind of from the rip that his goal wasn't necessarily to do anything with Duke. It was just to impress scouts enough to where he'd be a high draft pick. And then,
Jalen Johnson.
Jalen Johnson. That's what I mean. What did I say? Keldon Johnson? I meant Jalen Johnson.
Yeah. I got you.
Dude, like sports and everything just crisscrossed for me. Names, whatever. Jalen Johnson. Jalen Johnson. I had the last name right, so that's all that matters.
That's most important part.
Yeah, but anyway, he just, he decided that this isn't worth it for me. We suck. Why risk me getting hurt? And so I'm just going to pull out, which they actually kind of played a little bit better since he has.
Yeah, they've actually played a lot better since he left. Jim Boeheim had some very harsh words for him. He wasn't even a coach either. That's what kills him.
He should have just went to the G League Ignite and balled it up with Jalen Green, and I forget the other dude's name, but he's both of those guys have looked fairly impressive. But yeah, I agree. And we've kind of started to see the trend now where you don't see just pure raw talent get you really far anymore. This isn't like Kentucky from 10, 15 years ago, where you have like John Wall and Boogie on a team and they're going to the national championship, and it's literally 5 dudes on the squad that are one and done, and then they're just gone. That doesn't happen anymore. Like, my Arkansas Razorbacks are doing great right now, and they're filled with sophomores, juniors, and seniors on that team, and they've all played together. There's a couple freshmen on there, but it's mostly guys that have played together a lot. You see teams that aren't the Blue Bloods. They don't get too many one and dones. The Villanovas, the Virginias, they keep their core together and they recruit amazing ballers, but they're not the guys that are one and done. They're going to stay there for 2, 3, maybe even 4 years. And you see them reap the benefits of that because they get comfortable in the game and they get better at the college level. And then it pays off for them because you see a lot of those guys, they're sometimes more NBA ready than the one and dones are. And the one and dones are the better talent.
Yeah, that speaks to like a whole different problem with the NBA with the one and dones. How most guys that are one and done that go into the NBA are not NBA ready, and they take at least 3 years to really even develop into, where you start to see signs of what they could be. Like, of course, there's exceptions to this. However, the exceptions are like future all-time greats, like LeBron James and Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving. Those are exceptions to that rule. But at the same time, you're talking about guys that are, that were probably top 10 players in their prime.
Yeah. You want to know a player that was around here that had a lot of hype going into college? You remember Archie Goodwin went to Kentucky? He grew up in the area that I went at. I went and watched him play basketball twice and met him before. Played for the Suns for like 3 years and was out of the league. Was not ready. It was absolutely not ready. Malik Monk grew up around here too. I got to watch him play in high school. Yeah, and he's finally blossoming into a decent NBA role player. But it took him a while. It took him a while because he was one and done at Kentucky, and he was like a role player at Kentucky. He was a starter, but he was like a role player at Kentucky, then went to the NBA. And yeah, it's taken him a couple years to get into the swing of it.
Yeah, see, like I said, that just speaks to a whole nother issue, but at the same time, we'll save that for another day.
That's for another toast time.
Yeah, that's definitely going to be a toast time. Some coming up soon. I'll tell you that right now.
Excuse me. All right, so mine is my burnt. Gosh, my mind is just not right today. My burnt toast is going to be Jay Williams. Now, Jay Williams is kind of a celebrity on the site, not for good reasons, but because for the longest time, articles about Jay Williams were hot and they were doing great. Back in the early days, like back before I was even here, Jay Williams articles were doing hot. And I meant to write an article about this today, and I still may get to before the day ends, just because it's so idiotic, and I'm tired of people doing this. But I guess he has a show in the morning. It's called Keyshawn, J. Will, and Zubin that he does over at ESPN. And he was talking to Keyshawn, and they were talking about how Luka Doncic should request a trade to the New York Knicks.
Oh my God.
Like almost immediately. And it's like, now I know why I hate it when the Knicks do good. Because this is why. The entire NBA world is remembered why we don't like dealing with Knicks and Knicks fans is for this reason. Now, I agree. The NBA does great when the Knicks do good. When you had Melo and Stoudemire and Billups back in the day making some big playoff pushes, that was some of the greatest basketball ever. It was a great year. That 2013 is a great basketball year because not only is that one of the years I really started paying attention to the NBA, but just every night NBA game was just a banger. And the NBA is good when it's bigger markets are playing well. It's like you can't tell me that the NBA is not a better product now than it was 4 years ago because now the Lakers are relevant again. But anyway, back to the main topic. I hate seeing stuff like this for many reasons. One of the reasons is that not everybody wants to go play in a big market. Look at Giannis. He has stayed where he's at. Not everybody wants to go play for the New York Knicks just because it's the New York Knicks. You haven't won a thing since the 70s. You know, Patrick Ewing couldn't do anything because he ran into the bulldozer that was the Bulls.
Yep.
And then later on, and just all the other great talents of the late 80s and 90s. And then just recently, Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving said, no, we're going to go to Brooklyn instead. We're going to be the Kings of New York, but we're doing it with Brooklyn and not the Knicks.
That was a slap.
Could there not be a bigger middle finger when the two of the biggest stars in the league do not go to one of the marquee franchises?
That's like, I could try to put it in New York terms for you. That'd be like if back in the day, Alex Rodriguez and
to say that.
And it'd be like Alex Rodriguez and Andy Pettitte instead of the Yankees, they went to the Mets, which is like crazy to think about because like that would never happen. But
no, they're the lesser New York team.
But this is basically what just happened this year with the Knicks and the Nets.
And then finally, just kind of the other angle of this is because he's talking about, look at all the great things the Knicks are doing. Look at all the great things that New York's going, their trajectory. They're doing so well. While I was right in my prediction that by the next time we met, they would be 500 or above 500. They're right at 500. They're 18-18. That's it. They're just a 500 team. Some of their, like Emmanuel Quickly, RJ Barrett, Julius Randle. Yeah, those are good pieces, but it's like some of them are old too. Some of them are old vets that you're not going to do that they're going to phase out. Rose is having a nice resurgence this year, but it's not like it's anything like spectacular and special. It's not MVP Rose. And the only reason why they're a playoff team right now is because they're in the Eastern Conference. They're a 500 team, and they're in the Eastern Conference, so they're like the 6th seed. Out west, where Luka's at, they were a playoff team last year. Porzingis has been hurt for most of the year. You know, Jay Williams is talking about, it's not working out with Porzingis. It's like, it's not working out with Porzingis because he's been injured. And Porzingis wanted out of the Knicks. You think Porzingis has been talking to the Knicks in a good light? And all of this is just based off of Luka Doncic and RJ Barrett having the same agent. That was the only basis for what Jay Williams had to say. God. And it's like, well, LeBron's man is agent for like half the league. You don't see all the other stars going to team up with LeBron. They're going to other teams to try to beat LeBron.
See, this is why Jay Williams gets people annoyed. And you know what? I can't even sit here and say it's just him because it's a lot of people. I was on Twitter. I think I seen this yesterday or today, where people already, I don't know, it was some fan page or something, was already talking about there was an anonymous NBA GM or something that was like, I can't say who, but there's going to be a superstar or a star that's going to get his way to the Knicks by the end of the year. And like, I know a lot of Knicks fans, they were all commenting on it. Like, please stop with this. Like, please, we just want to be left alone. Okay. Like, it's gotten to the point where even Knicks fans have acknowledged that they're not getting anybody, that they're just happy with building with what they got. Okay. They're happy with being a 4 seed. They're happy with being 500 right now. It's been a long time since this team has even been this. It's like they're not even like that good. But since they've been this good, it's been a really long time. So let them just enjoy the moment. Okay, let them enjoy RJ Barrett starting to actually develop. Let them enjoy having one of the best steals of the draft, in my opinion, Emmanuel Quickly, and let them enjoy Julius Randle turning into an all-star, borderline MVP candidate at this point. Okay, let them enjoy that. Okay, stop with the whole they're gonna get Kevin Durant, Kyrie. I remember back in the draft, they said that the Knicks are gonna win the lottery. They're gonna get Zion, then they're gonna get Kyrie, then they're gonna get KD. I'm like, bro, just stop. It's like it gets crazy.
All those Photoshop hours gone to waste.
Gone to waste. Absolutely. Listen, even my team, the Lakers, prior to LeBron, all the stuff that I would see about this person wants to come to the Lakers, this guy wants to come to the Lakers, and like I'm sitting there and I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, we're terrible. Like we are who wants to come here right now? I was like, we are terrible. I said all of our draft picks doesn't even look like anything's hitting. And then, but see, that's what happens though, because all it took was LeBron coming to LA, and next thing you know, everything completely changed in a matter of a year.
The worst Knicks take that I saw this past week, someone outright said that Julius Randle at his peak is a better basketball player than Chris Bosh at his peak.
Okay, get the fuck out.
Like, come on, dude. You want to talk about prisoner of the moment? Like, Julius Randle's having a great season. I'm not taking anything away from him, but it's Chris Bosh, man.
Chris Bosh was a multiple-time All-Star and 2-time NBA champion. And Julius Randle.
The only thing that could stop him was, unfortunately, the dude got blood clots in his lungs in his early 30s. He was forced to retire, and that sucked.
Unfortunate, but he still had a good career. Even only playing probably 10 years, I think. Maybe, I think.
Yeah, and people don't even really understand how good Bosh was, because he was the guy that took the back seat to LeBron and Wade.
Hey, he was nasty on the Raptors. He was filthy. But hey, listen.
These young kids, they don't know.
No, they don't know nothing. If I got Chris Bosh as my third best option, I think I'm doing pretty well. Like, come on. Well, I'll move on to my extra crispy since I'm already getting ramped up about this crap Knicks talk. We're gonna go extra crispy this week, sticking with the NBA. The goddamn refs, okay? The NBA refs have got to stop. And by they got to stop, I mean they got to stop being they got to stop being bitches. Sorry, they got to stop being like little bitches. Okay? Anytime a player says anything to a ref, it's T. You're getting texts, you're getting thrown out of games. Okay, last night was one of the most egregious things I've ever seen. Now, I'm a Laker fan. I'm watching Lakers play the Suns. Midway through the second quarter, Devin Booker got teed up 2 times by 2 different officials, like 10 seconds from each other. Because all he did was throw the ball hard and curse. I'm sorry. The guy's not a competitor. He can't voice his opinion. And I'm sorry, but it's a nationally televised game. You are throwing out the second best player on the court at a nationally televised game. That's what you're doing. You are destroying your product. These refs think that the game is about them. And this is stuff that's been going on for a long time. See, you know what? Where I got to give credit to is I give credit to where it's due. And you know what? Credit to where it's due, 100% is on the NFL. There is no way, there are no NFL refs that you sit there and you're like, I hate this ref or this ref and this ref, blah, blah, blah. Most of the time, your team it's actually their fault. They were actually committing penalties. Yeah, there's some questionable calls, but it's really not that crazy. The NFL's got it right. The NBA with these refs is ridiculous. They like get power hungry. And they're like, we control the game. We control the entire season, basically. But we can throw these guys out. We can give all these technicals out. These guys will get suspended. And then we'll basically, force one team to move up in the standings depending on what we do on a night-to-night basis. It's just crap. Ref the game. If the player puts his hands on you in a violent way, okay, tee him up, whatever. He starts jawing at something, tee him up, whatever. This even goes back to the Warriors game when Draymond Green got teed up and thrown out with 5 seconds left.
And they lost the game because of that.
It was tied. I think it was a tie game. They were up by 2. Whatever happened, there was like 5 seconds left. Draymond gets thrown out of the damn game for literally no reason. He really didn't say. I know everyone knows Draymond is like the guy that always just running his mouth. But if you watched, he really didn't say that much. Like, he really didn't say nothing. I think he was more or less just like frustrated about the call. I was just like, oh, come on. Like what's that? And they tee him up. Come on, bro. I didn't get that many technicals in freaking 8th grade basketball. And I had a worse foul. I got more talk time than some of these players get. It's crazy.
Dude, just the NBA refs in general, just besides their heads being up their own butts, they're just bad. And in general, they have created an environment where it's all about them, and they can change the outcome of games now. It is getting to that point. And when watching games, I've never even heard like the commentators complain so much about how egregious and outrageous some of these, what's getting called a foul, what's not getting called a foul, overreactions by refs on technicals. It's getting absurd. And it's all people talk about are the refs. First, the NBA needs to start with some sensitivity training in the offseason.
Yeah.
They got to do something to give these refs some thicker skin. Okay. And that these refs are some of the most arrogant referees of any sport. And why? Because they pretty much have brands of their own now, because you recognize a lot of these NBA refs. There's like some referees from the NFL that you can recognize, but you only recognize them because they're good and they're shown on TV a lot. Like the same, like 5, 6 main referees are getting the big primetime games because they're good, and you recognize them because you're good. I shouldn't be recognizing a ref and know that dude's going to give out at least 2 or 3 technicals tonight.
Yeah.
Or the last 5 games that ref has reffed on live TV, someone's gotten kicked out. Yep. And I guarantee you can go back, whoever that ref was. And it's like the one that kicked out JJ Redick last time, and he just rolled the ball at him, literally teed him up and tossed him. He just rolled the ball at you. Grow a freaking pair. Be a man or a woman, because we have women refs now, but just be a grown-up. How about that? Just be a grown-up. Have thick skin not let everything get to you, and just ref the dang game the way it's supposed to be
refed. Tee up anybody. It's all these old,
no, they don't.
Like 60-year-old freaking NBA refs are teeing up everybody, and you got
what was the meme? I wish I knew her name, but she had the most perfect reaction that a referee had to an NBA player, because he was jawing at her and everything and complaining about a call, and she just kind of gave him like a bitch shut up kind of look, and just kept going on. And I was like, thank you. That's a ref I can get behind. She took the jawing and she gave the player a look that's just like, shut up and just play. Let me do my job. Let me ref. You do your job. Go play the game.
It's crazy. And you know what? This is even a problem in the MLB too, because you talk to any baseball fan, you talk about MLB refs or umpires, should I say? There's only one guy that comes to your mind. You already know who this man, Angel Hernandez, and it's crazy because this happens every single. It's crazy.
Yeah,
I can't believe it.
Yeah, Hernandez. Oh, it was so funny on Twitter. Like last week, it's the first spring training game of the St. Louis Cardinals, and who I follow. Exactly. And the announcer is like, Angel Hernandez, already in mid-season
form. And I love it. It's just a running joke now between everybody in baseball that Angel Hernandez is just a terrible umpire. And you know, it's funny because there was a meme I seen where they were like, Angel Hernandez was like, they had like one of those things where he's got this like confused look on his face. He goes, I wonder why I never get called to go ump the World Series. And then they go and show the clip. They go and show all the clips of his horrible, terrible calls. And I was like, oh, that's why. And like, we just continue to let him have a job. I don't understand. I just really don't get it. Like,
these dudes don't get fired unless there's like a scandal involved. That's the only way they get fired.
Being a referee in the MLB, NBA, NFL, NHL, it really doesn't matter. You could be the worst at your job. You'll still keep it. It doesn't matter. This is the only place that I know that you could do so bad at being a referee and never get fired. These guys never, ever get fired.
Yeah. My father-in-law, real quick side story, he's actually best friends with an NFL referee. He was a backup at the Super Bowl just in case if they needed an extra referee, in case one of them didn't pass a COVID test or whatever. I need to find out his name, because like he texts him on the regular, because I'll tell you one game that he refed. I need to look up the ref like list or whatever for the game. Yeah, he refed the game, the Buccaneers and Saints game in the playoffs. He refed one of those because my father-in-law got to go down. He got to sit at the 50. He was like, because he got him tickets to go to it. It was like super cool. I was like, man, I need to talk to this guy.
We got to get him on. We got to get him on Toast Time one time.
Get him on Toast Time.
I got to know. I got to know what it's like to be to be a referee. I got to be like, listen, do what they say to you is that bad? Like, is it that bad where guys need to get thrown out every 2 seconds? I just got to know these things.
All right, so for mine, speaking of NFL, my extra crispy toast. I actually have 3 pieces of extra crispy toast here, but they're varying levels of extra crispy. Mm-hmm. You know, like one is like, oh man, it's, I got to throw it out. It's whatever. The other one is like, it's like so burnt. It's like extremely like black, and it's like hard as a rock, and like you toss it on the counter and it breaks the counter. And the last one is your toaster has exploded and the fire department is on its way to your house to try to save your house. Okay. So there's 3 teams in particular, and all of them have similar problems at quarterback. The first one is the Green Bay Packers. The Green Bay Packers, for whatever reason, continue to refuse to help Aaron Rodgers in any capacity. You would have thought that getting someone, even on the defensive side, like JJ Watt, would have been priority number 1. Wisconsin guy from the Midwest would have fit perfectly. And that defense, it needs some help. Getting better defensive players, that helps Aaron Rodgers. How does that help Aaron Rodgers? Better field position and less pressure on him each time he walks out on the field, because his defense isn't giving up scores every other possession. They are cheapskates when they draft good guys. They refuse to extend them or sign them to new deals. They refuse to spend big money on big name free agents. And guess what? I highly doubt that they re-sign Aaron Jones. I highly doubt that.
I really don't see that happening.
I don't see it happening,
especially with AJ Dillon. He looks like a solid running back. I don't see that happening.
Yeah, exactly. So they're not going to keep Aaron Jones. It's just, so that's my first one. All right. I promise this is all going to make sense when I get to the end of it. Okay. So first one, Packers. Second one, Seattle Seahawks, Russell Wilson. All right. I don't know what is going on in there. Now, I did write an article about how, where I think that we are starting to see the smoke billowing from the horizon, where the bridge that is between Russell Wilson and the Seattle Seahawks, one side of it is starting to smoke heavily. Okay. And usually 99.999 times out of 100, where there's smoke, there's fire. Now, you will have pissed this man off to the point, one of the nicest guys in the NFL, a guy that loves Seattle, loves the organization, has said multiple times how he wants to stay a Seahawk for life, and has done so much for that city. You have that man storm out of a meeting because he's so angry. There are reports that when he was watching the Super Bowl, when it was his wife on one side and Roger Goodell on the other, watching Tom Brady win yet another Super Bowl, surrounded by players that he himself helped get to that team. Like the report says that he was just angry because the Seahawks would not listen to him the way that Tom Brady just walked into Tampa Bay. They listened to everything he said. Even when Bruce Arians didn't agree with it, Bruce Arians says, we're not bringing in Antonio Brown. We're good. Like 2 weeks later, they bring in Antonio Brown. Guess what? The dude catches a touchdown in the Super Bowl. And then he's just so angry. He's just like, listen, I want more control of my legacy. And they refuse to give it to him. They refuse to listen to him. And then it gets to the point where he goes public. He goes to the Dan Patrick show and starts hinting at some things that are going on. And then we start to see the flood of information. And then he approaches the Seahawks with a list of teams not demanding a trade, but if you do trade me, here's 4 teams that I would approve to waive my no trade clause for. So, again, I'm not requesting a trade, but here's 4 teams I'd like to get traded to. Something's wrong if your starting quarterback approaches you with teams that he'd like to be traded to, even if he's not outright asking for a trade. He still gave you a list of teams that he would rather play for. That's like your significant other walking up to you and be like, I love you, but here's 4 other people that I would love also and like to spend the rest of my life with. What is that? How does that, how is that cool? Like, how do people not think that something's wrong with your relationship? If that happens, something is wrong with that relationship. And guess what? They continue to refuse to give any leeway. Aaron Rodgers has no say in what he's doing and what goes on, obviously, because he wants he wants like some weapons. He wants some offensive weapons. You give him a little crumb, you give him 1 or 2, and then it's like, all right, when is the Super Bowl? Why haven't you won us a Super Bowl yet? You won an MVP. Why not a Super Bowl? Same thing with Russell Wilson. Then the piece de resistance is Deshaun Watson in Houston.
Oof.
This man, less than a year ago, signs a massive extension with Houston. Talks about just super emotional, almost in tears about how much he loves the city, how much he loves this team, and how much this means to him, because from where he grew up to where he is now, the money that he now has and the good things that he can do with that money, almost kind of similar to what Derek Carr said when he said he was more happy about the things he could do with the money than signing for the money itself. Deshaun Watson saying those same things. And then you fire the head coach. The team gets rid of your number 1 receiver, and your team sucks to the point that JJ Watt is like, dude, I'm sorry, we wasted a prime year of your career. And so they're going to start clean slate. The owner tells Deshaun, we're going to give you input on who we get for the GM. We're going to give you input. We're going to take your input on who we hire as our next head coach and all these other things, all these promises. And not saying that they're going to take his word, like whoever you say you want, we're going to get him. Just that we're going to take you into severe consideration because you're the leader of this team and you deserve the input. Outright lied to him. Right to his face. And Deshaun Watson is rightfully angry. I see people all the time. It's like, go ahead and trade him. You know, I don't want someone on my team that isn't bought into the system. Dude, they outright lied to the man's face. I don't know how more disrespectful you can be to look a man in the eyes and say one thing and then do the complete opposite, especially in a business that is covered as tightly and closely as the NFL is for the general public to see. And then the reports are coming out. It's like, we're not trading him. We're not trading him. So they're basically holding the man hostage because he doesn't want to be there anymore. And if he doesn't play, then he's going to lose not just the money that he was supposed to get this season, but he'd have to give back a significant portion of the signing bonus that he got when he signed the contract. And who knows where that money is? I don't have his, bank records. So I don't know where, however many millions he got. I don't know what of it he spent, what of it he saved, what of it he's given away and wrote off on taxes. I don't know. Yet they refuse to even listen to the man now. They're not even answering trades. I saw one article that was talking about teams are leaving voicemails about Deshaun Watson to the GM's answering machine because he's literally not picking up. If he sees that the number is from a certain area code and the area code happens to be where any of the other 31 NFL teams are, he's not answering it. Just letting it ring and going on. And that man's in the office because it's the off season and the draft's coming up. That man is the busiest that he's ever been. And so the root of it all is this. The time and things are changing in the NFL to where quarterbacks are going to need to start having a bigger say in what happens in that franchise. Now, I'm not saying that, the man should make every draft pick, like people were joking about Russell Wilson, all right, let's let him go to the combine to scout, the players, let him in the draft room, let him make the first pick, second pick, 12th pick, whatever, let him sign the free agents and negotiate the contracts. That's not what they're asking. They're just asking for input. They're just asking to be heard because they see things that coaches don't see when they're out there on the field. Now, to be fair, coaches see things that players don't see. When I was playing basketball, when I tore my meniscus and I sat on the sideline for a couple months, I saw the game differently than how I saw it playing on the court. And I feel like it made me a better basketball player when I got back onto the court, when I was fully healthy. So I get that. You need coaches. But at the same time, respect who that person is. Respect Aaron Rodgers as just a man, the leader of your team. Respect Russell Wilson. Respect Deshaun Watson. And I don't blame them for wanting out. You can't blame them. And people are saying, oh, well, you can't trade him. Russell Wilson, he's a future first ballot Hall of Famer. You can't trade Deshaun Watson. He's a top 5 quarterback in the league. First off, you shouldn't have pissed him off. You shouldn't have done that. And secondly, if he wants out and he's causing this much of a ruckus, guess what? You're never going to get your value back for him, but you're still going to have to trade him because then you're basically going to become the Detroit Lions times 2.
Yep.
Guys that ruin people's careers in franchises that don't want to go to play. Rob Gronkowski retired because there was the possibility of getting traded to Detroit. And he's like, nah, fam, I'm out. I'm done taking the hits. And then he comes back and wins a Super Bowl with Tom Brady. Mm-hmm. But I'm tired of these 3 franchises because, again, they refuse to listen to their quarterbacks. They refuse to listen to common sense. They think themselves above everyone else when that's not the case. We are moving into an era in the NFL. It's already here in the NBA, maybe a little bit too much in the NBA, a little bit too extreme on the opposing side, but to a point in time where players are going to start dictating what they want to happen and where they want to go. And again, I'm not saying to give them the reins and, make Russell Wilson, assistant GM. That's not what I'm saying. But the man has a right, when his offensive line is garbage, to say, listen, I'm tired of getting hit. There are some great offensive linemen that are hitting the free agent market. Please go sign one of them or both of them. Please. Or I need another wide receiver. Please draft a wide receiver there. Don't draft a quarterback. Don't draft a backup running back.
See, you're 100% right with basically everything you just said. Now, I'll tell you, for the life of me, can't understand why any of these three teams, Packers, Seahawks, Texans, why any of the three of them would like almost make it their mission, like go out of our way to just piss off our franchise QBs. And it's not even like you're pissing off guys that are like second, third year in the league and they may turn into a franchise quarterback. No, you're pissing off guys that Russell Wilson won you a Super Bowl. Aaron Rodgers won you a Super Bowl, won multiple MVPs. Deshaun Watson's top 5 player in the league right now. It's just like, why would you do that? I mean, I'll tell you what, for all the crap and all the anger I get, and I get all riled up during football season most of the time about the Giants, I'll tell you what, the Giants would never would have done that to Eli Manning. They didn't do, I mean, they just flat out didn't do that to him, but they would have never done that to Eli Manning.
Well, yeah, remember, they fired your head coach after he benched Manning and broke his streak of consecutive starts.
That's backing up your quarterback.
Everybody
although honestly,
rioted.
In my opinion, they should have fired him before he did that decision. But probably, I would imagine Ben McAdoo probably didn't say nothing to them. And then next thing you know, Sunday comes around and they're like, "Oh yeah, so Eli, we're benching you to break your career starting streak." And that whole situation
for a quarterback that was just
for Geno Smith, okay, for Geno Smith, all right. Please, I go on and on about that one. It's not like we were taking a look. It's not like we were taking a look at like Patrick Mahomes sitting on the bench. No. We're taking a look at Geno Smith. You know damn well Geno Smith ain't the future of your franchise. You could have at least, if you looked at that guy, I can't even remember his name, third string quarterback, Webb. If you looked at Webb at that time, I would have been like, okay, because you know what, he's a rookie. You want to see what you got with him. I would have been a little more okay with the decision, but no, not for Geno Smith. Okay, let freaking Eli have his career iron.
Like
basically,
there are even people saying like, let him just play the first possession so that way he keeps his starting streak alive, and then bring up.
It was ridiculous.
Whoever you want.
Then he ended up playing the second half anyway because Geno Smith was that bad, and it's just crazy. It's just absolutely nuts that they would do. And you know what? The Giants backed them up. They said, yeah, Ben McAdoo, get the hell out of here. You're done. And hey, listen, it was what it was. And then Eli took a backseat, last year just to get like Daniel Jones, start. Like Eli, everyone realized that this was Eli was done. And you know what? It was nice. Whatever. Call it a career at that. 2-time Super Bowl MVP, 2-time Super Bowl champ. But that's what you could get if you treat your quarterback right. Okay? That's what you could have. You could have a guy that will literally, like, just brush stuff off to the side. Like, okay, fine. You're not starting me for Geno Smith. Yes, I'm probably pissed about this, but you fired the coach who made this terrible decision. You got my back. So you know what? We're all good.
Yeah, and
they don't do things like that.
The rest of the league better wise up and realize this, because LeBron was the one that made the shift where player fluidity. And again, like I said, I think maybe the NBA goes a little too far with the player fluidity, because you have players like
the shift of power in the NBA. It's just like,
yeah, well, it's not just that. You also
one season
you have players that sign supermax deals and then the next day are demanding trades. Anthony Davis. But I mean, Tom Brady, everybody sees the success that Tom Brady had. So now, yeah, you're going to have the Russell Wilsons and the Aaron Rodgers who have spent their entire careers in the shadow of this man, and they want to win too. And Tom Brady's not letting them eat. You get little snippets here and there, but not what Tom's doing. Tom's got
Yeah,
7
no,
Super Bowls.
yeah,
He's going
no.
for an 8th one.
Still not letting anybody eat. It's okay. It's so crazy. It's so crazy. But that's just a whole nother thing of Tom Brady is basically just beat Father Time into a pulp and locked him in the closet. It's like
Yeah,
nah,
listen.
I'll tell you when I'm done. You don't tell me when I'm done. I'll tell you
Yeah,
when I'm done.
like Father Time will always remain undefeated, but he's taken a couple draws with LeBron and Tom.
Yeah.
Because they're so far and so old, but they're still playing at a high level to where you just got to acknowledge, all right, it's not an L for Father Time because they're not going to live forever, but that's about as close as it's going to get. They took them the full 12 rounds.
Yeah, they went the distance. Most guys get knocked out in the 4th round. So I'll move on to my soggy toast this week. Now, I don't know if many people heard about this. Well, no, there's probably a couple people. There's probably people that have heard about this. Jackson, I don't know if you've seen this. Maybe you did, maybe you did. So earlier this week, we got one of the hottest rappers from 2005 who got into a Twitter beef with Randy Orton, the Legend Killer, WWE. Now, I don't really know how this started or what the hell was going on, really. All I know is I seen Randy Orton basically go on Twitter and was telling Soulja Boy to step into the squared circle with him, okay? And it's just like, Soulja Boy is my soggy toast because you know what, guy? You haven't, I couldn't even tell you last time you were relevant. All right, you really aren't relevant. You're more of just a meme nowadays. Like you hop on the Breakfast Club every now and then to just get your 30 seconds of fame about, and then we get a meme made out of
my
you.
whole flow.
Stole my whole flow, bar for bar, word for word. Just get a meme made out of you every now and then. But you're from. You haven't been in the rap game. You haven't been good since 2005. All right, and I'm sorry, but you're coming at the wrong one, okay? Because Randy Orton will punt your head off and he will kill you, okay? He will throw you off the top of a Hell in a Cell. He'll RKO you through the cage, through 2 tables. You'll have Jim Ross going nuts about Randy Orton, what he's doing to you, okay? So you know what, Soulja Boy, take your ass back to 2005. Shut up and stop talking about WWE guys because they are some of the biggest guys around. All right. They are very athletic. And you know what? Just don't get hurt is what I'll say. Just
Courtney
don't
said,
get hurt.
Courtney said Soulja Boy is always on Twitch playing his music. Oh, that's funny. I know T-Pain does that, but apparently T-Pain, he like plays video games and stuff and everything, and his is actually doing pretty well for him. I watched one of his streams one time. The dude was just freestyle DJing, and it was awesome.
See, because who doesn't love T-Pain? But Soulja Boy is just a flat joke.
Yeah. But yeah, Soulja Boy and his failed video game console that I really wanted to buy back in the day.
Oh my God, I remember that.
It was Soulja Boy. Just because it was Soulja Boy. He's supposed to be coming out with another one. He's supposed to be trying again. I saw that report like a week or so ago. Oh man. All right. So my soggy toast for this week has been my soggy toast for about a month and a half now. It's my internet, man. We were talking about it before the show, and I know no free advertisement here, but I'm gonna say their name because this is not advertisement. This is a warning. If you live in the southern part of the United States, now I don't know where else they're at. I just know the southern part. Never use anything. Never buy internet. Don't get the TV from Suddenlink. All right. And Atlas Mobile too. That's like their mobile company now. They like merged or whatever. Almost like they do like cell phones and regular phones and whatnot. Never be a part of them unless you're like me and you're stuck in a zone where they control a monopoly, because it's bad, dude. I pay about $80 a month just for internet, and it's garbage. Okay. It's the worst. And the Suddenlink that is just like maybe 25 minutes down the road where the store is at, it has almost 600 reviews, 1.5 stars on Google.
Oof.
600 reviews, 1.5 stars. And everyone's like, it never used to be this way. They used to be good. Now they're awful. I've tried for 4 days to talk to an actual person. I never can. Their menu is impossible.
They can't be that busy. Come on.
They're not. They just don't want to talk to people because they know it's so bad that in the past 2 years, the county courthouse has had 5 town hall meetings with board members from Suddenlink present. Like even back before COVID, they were coming there and meeting with people at town hall meetings because everybody was pissed off with them. AT&T is starting to put fiber internet in the big city, the town that's got like 100,000 people that's down the road from me. I live in rural Arkansas, so anything above 1,000 people is like, oh my gosh, it's huge. Even though Memphis is a stone's throw away, and you know that's the biggest city that I'll ever run around in. But it's so bad, dude. Stay away from Suddenlink. If you see the name Suddenlink or Atlas, run away from it as far as you can. I'm tired of it because my internet drops like 4 or 5 times a day. I've tried to stream the past like 2 weeks and it's dropped in the middle of a stream. I'll be watching TV. It'll drop in the middle. You know, my son is like watching Mulan or something. It drops and he gets upset because Mulan's off. And I'm like, I know, dude, I'm sorry. There's nothing I can do. I try to reboot the router. It doesn't work. It's not like the internet's gone. It's still like my devices can find it. It's just like, oh, we can't connect to the internet. And it is such a pain in the butt. And even that before then, I was already pissed off at them because the only reason why I had them was to watch Grizz games because they're blacked out on NBA TV. And like, that's like the only reason why I used them. It got to the point towards the end of last season when I finally got rid of the cable, I wasn't picking up Grizz games. I was getting either Texas Rangers games when baseball season was on, or I was getting like boat racing championships. Those were the 2 options that I had. And it read on my screen, Memphis Grizzlies versus X. And I'm getting freaking boats just racing around on some water. I'm like, this ain't it. Like, who do I call about this problem?
Oh my God.
I'm done with these people, dude. I'm so done with them. Listen, the town that I grew up in, the town where my parents were in, they wised up and they're like, we're just going to invest in fiber for the whole city. Yeah. Like it's like a part of their utilities bill now. The same company that runs their utilities, they put a bunch of money in them and they're like, we're going to build a massive Wi-Fi infrastructure and bring fiber Wi-Fi to everybody. And I already pay high taxes. I would pay an extra 2% tax in this county if it meant that I could have good internet. I don't care. Okay. You can charge an extra and they only add an extra like $20 onto their fiber internet. And they have like the next to highest package, like my parents at their house do. They have almost a gig speed and it's only $20 more on their utilities bill each month.
Wow. Hey, listen, Jackson, I'll tell you right now. Couple months, I'll probably taking a vacation, probably going to Florida, check out some condos down there my family's buying. But I'm gonna take a swing to Arkansas and I'll take a visit to this so-called internet company. And if you ever seen The Godfather, I will make them an offer that they can't refuse.
Yeah.
I'll make sure I'll make sure Johnny Fontaine gets the part in that movie, if you know what I mean.
Oh my gosh, it's unbearable, man.
Yeah, that's bad. Like my Wi-Fi is actually not terrible. I have Verizon. It's not bad. I will say this though. Since I got the PlayStation 5, I've been pulling my hair out because this thing is a just massive system that needs tons of power, and like it's basically I have to play on LAN, and if I don't play on LAN and play on Wi-Fi, I'm beat. Like it's a flip of a coin if it's good or not.
Yeah. See, for me it doesn't matter if I'm on LAN or not because like the TV is like literally I've got it plugged into the router so that way it has the best connection. It just poops out. It just stops.
See, that's
sitting there watching a movie with my 1-year-old son. He's like eating some snacks and playing with some toys, and I'm just sitting there like taking a break. Poof, it's gone.
Yeah, we're gonna need to we're gonna need to do something about that. 100%. 100%. Don't worry. I'll get it done. I'll get it done. So moving on to my toast of the week. My toast of the week this week. Now, honestly, they could really be the toast of the year. Just because of the mass exodus that has happened with this city, not even the team, the city. The city of Houston has had a huge Houston exodus within the past 12 months. It has been horrible what has happened to them. All their teams. It's not even like a couple. No, it's basically all of them. So let's see. We'll just go down the list of people here. This is just gonna be great. James Harden, Russell Westbrook, J.J. Watt, soon to be Deshaun Watson. He got probably the four biggest guys that have been in that city on those teams in a long time, and they're all gone. And while Watson's on his way out, and three of them are gone, it has just been terrible. Oh, and not even to mention, we're gonna go to the Houston Astros. No more George Springer, no more Garrett Cole. It's been really bad for the city of Houston. You got everybody just leaving in drones. All these superstar talents just they're taking their talents to wherever the hell they are, as long as it's not in Houston. So, hey man, they might as well be. This isn't even my toast of the week anymore. This is my toast of the year. Is the city of Houston, just flat out toast of the year. If COVID couldn't have been any worse, well, this is worse because now all your teams suck. So now I don't know what you have to look forward to.
It's a rough time to be in Houston, man. Everybody's leaving. The power grid is failing.
And it's also like negative 5 degrees there too.
Yeah. It's just if you are a Houstonian, then it's bad. Sports wise, life wise, it's just bad.
It ain't looking too hot for you.
Yeah.
Oh,
and
that's
I
right.
guess
Now the entire was it the entire state of Texas?
The governor
no more masks, and they're like
no more masks, and everything can be 100%, back open now. And I guess depending on your views, that could be a good thing or a bad thing, but
listen,
but just generally it's bad to be you're not in 2021's not your year if you're a Houstonian.
Nope.
It's already that time where you just gotta take your L and be like, all right, 2022 is the year for Houston, But if you're a sports fan, then it's not going to be till like 2025.
You gotta just be sitting
before
there,
you can even begin to think that it may be your
2025. 2025 is our year.
Just give us a couple years. Oh, all right. So my toast of the week is Dak Prescott, the quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys, in case people live under a rock, which if you live under a rock, you don't know who Dak Prescott is. Why are you watching the show? Appreciate it. Subscribe, but come on. Reports. So I've never been really on the side for paying Dak Prescott insane amount of money. People are like, oh, you better pay him now because it's just going to get more expensive. And I'm like, well, yeah, but hasn't really done anything with this team. Like, he puts up decent numbers, but I think I could go out there and have a winning season if I had the number one offensive line and Ezekiel Elliott as my running back and the type of defense that they've had, over years. I know last year was kind of bad. They've had to let some people go and they've had some injuries, but I mean, come on. They should run away with that division every single year, and they don't. But now reports have come out that Dak Prescott, he wants money that's just right behind Patrick Mahomes. He doesn't want to be up there with Russell Wilson and, some of the others. He wants to be the second highest paid QB in the league behind behind Patrick Mahomes. I'm sorry, dude, but you haven't deserved that. What have you done? And this isn't even a what have you done for me recently, lately, or, lately type of thing. It's a what have you done in your career so far? What? You won the division a few times. You maybe won a playoff game. Okay, that's cool. You've got a solid team around you. You've never had a great coach, which that's Jerry Jones's fault.
Yeah.
But Just and like I know he was having a great year last year statistically wise before he got hurt, but that game they were losing until Andy Dalton came in, and Andy Dalton and they ended up winning that game. I actually believe was that against your Giants
Of course
that
it was.
happened too.
Of
Yeah,
course it was. Because that doesn't happen to any other. It wouldn't happen to literally any other team in the NFL. Only happens
yeah,
when the Giants backup quarterback comes in and we hand them the game in the fourth quarter. I've seen
like
that.
in
I've seen that episode way too many times.
like 2016 was your best year at 13-3, but then you're 9-7, 10-6, 8-8, and 2-3. It's if you can't win with this team, first off, you're not going to win anywhere else. There's nowhere else in the league where there is this much talent, except for maybe Cleveland. There's not this much talent on paper, and you're not producing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you're not going to win anywhere else. Baker Mayfield, he's not winning anywhere else because he doesn't have the talent like he has in Cleveland. Dak Prescott not winning anywhere else. He barely wins here, but he's definitely not winning anywhere else. He does not deserve to be the second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, maybe not even a top, maybe the 10th, somewhere around in there. You know, I would cave a little bit, you know, maybe get him on a long-term deal. He wants a 4-year deal. That's fine. Sign him to a 4-year deal. Give him, you know, like 30 something, you know, 30 million guaranteed, even though personally I honestly wouldn't give him to that. But come on, dude. You haven't deserved this. You're only hurting yourself. Although you have an idiot negotiator in Jerry Jones, because Jerry Jones said Dak Prescott holds all the leverage because we didn't have him this past year and we sucked. So way to go, Jerry.
Yeah, really. Just gave. If he didn't have all the leverage before, no. Well, now he does because you just blatantly.
Oh, well, now he
went out and
does. Yeah,
said
you
it.
could have made the argument. You know, at least Jerry could have made the argument that
Andy Dalton was decent. Like even if you were here, we still would have been terrible. You know, but that just went out the window. And honestly, to be completely honest here, they would have been terrible. Dak Prescott. I'm sorry. It did not matter. If anybody watched any games of the Cowboys this year, that defense, that defense would have failed Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, and Tyreek Hill week after week. Okay, they would have been. You would have had Patrick Mahomes putting up 40 a game. The defense giving up 45, 50. Okay, because that's exactly what happened. That defense was terrible. Now, no love lost for the Giants. I mean, no love lost for the Cowboys. Everyone knows that. Giants fan. Mm-hmm. So, as a Giants fan, I love to see it. I love to see my division. I got my two most hated rivals in the division that are just big old question marks. Okay, the Eagles believe in Jalen Hurts. That's going to backfire. They don't know how to draft a receiver. That's going to backfire. Okay, Cowboys. I don't know what the hell's going on with them and Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott wants Patrick Mahomes money when he's coming off a broken ankle. I'm sorry, but that just ain't worth it. And even if you were fully healthy, you haven't won much to begin with. You only have the one playoff win. Your best year was a major disappointment because you guys just got. I don't remember exactly that playoff game against the Falcons. I know that damn well they were a better team than the Falcons, but the Falcons just beat them anyway. So yeah, that right now. And let's be real here. If you lose a playoff game to the Falcons, how bad are you? I don't care. I don't care. I don't care if the Falcons were 15-0 or 16-0. You lose to the Falcons in the playoffs, you got to look yourself in the mirror and be like, do I really deserve to be playing the NFL football anymore? Like, come on. So Dak Prescott, I fully agree with you. I don't think he should be he shouldn't be getting that money at all. And I just love to see the Cowboys in turmoil. But anyway, so last up before we get out of here, we'll be giving our predictions. Now, remind me, is the All-Star break for the NBA this weekend?
I think it is this weekend.
It is this weekend, right? Yeah, because I know the Nets, this is like the Nets and all that was the last game. The Rockets. Okay, yeah. So this is All-Star break weekend. My prediction. Obi Toppin wins the dunk contest. Why? Because I said so. I'll just put it. Why? Because I said so. The kid's got hops, I'll tell you that. I obviously get every Knicks game. Since I'm in New York, I get every single Knicks game. I have MSG Network. I get every single Knicks game. So the games that he has played, I tell you what, the man got bungees. At least he's got that. Now I really can't blame him for how his season has turned out so far because he got hurt like the first couple weeks of the year. So you got to really let him get into the groove a little bit. But he'll come around. He'll come around because I tell you what, RJ Barrett really has come around. So listen, I'm going Toppin will come around. He's got a good head coach. He'll be all right. But you know what? He'll start off his great second half of the year with a dunk contest championship.
Oh, he was pulling off great dunks back in college, his senior year. Or not, it may not have been his senior year, but just his last year in college. And that's a good prediction because, I did a lot of draft coverage for that past draft. Not so much this upcoming draft because I have gotten to watch like no college basketball. But I just called him a younger Aaron Gordon. So it fits. It makes sense that he could win it.
Well, listen, as long as it's not that same ref panel that's been doing Aaron Gordon dirty for like 3 years now, or however long Aaron Gordon's been doing the dunk contest. I know he said he's done. He's done. I don't blame the guy. I don't blame him. I'm pulling off the dunks that I'm pulling off. You haven't given me this trophy 3 times? That's ridiculous. Oh my God, that's ridiculous.
All right. So for my toast prediction, I've been taking some plays out of your playbook recently and going with some bold predictions.
There we go. Bold takes only.
Because it's out of the park or it's a strikeout. We don't do like singles here or anything. All right.
We have the Giancarlo Stanton approach. We strike out or we hit the ball 500 feet.
Exactly. So my bold prediction is, now they have been a toast on here before, just because they're so disappointing and I'm tired of them getting rammed down my throat forcefully by Adam Silver in the NBA. I predict that the New Orleans Pelicans will not make the playoffs this year.
Hey, listen, I believe it.
Right now, they are the 10th spot. Now, the 10th spot is the last spot for a team to be available for a play-in. And I still don't care much for the play-ins. It's like, when the 82, do better during your games during the regular season.
It's kind of a cop out, to be honest.
It's like it's one thing if it's like, MLB with the wild card and it's one game. It's like, that's the wild card, though. That's something that's established and that's something that they've added. This, it's like, oh, well, you sucked, because like out east, like let's look out east. The number 10 team. Actually, New Orleans isn't even the number 10 team. The number 10 team out east is Chicago. They're 15-18. The number 10 team out west is actually Dallas right now. Memphis holds the 9th spot. Dallas holds the 8th spot. So the Pelicans aren't even. They're 2.5 games behind the 10th spot right now. And the Thunder are right behind their heels, and then right behind the Thunder are the Kings. So it's like in the Western Conference, a 1 or 2 game, lead, that's nothing. That could be gone in a week because you could play a tough stretch of Western Conference opponents. It's crazy. So, and this is partially just me wanting this to happen because, again, if something is shoved down my throat over and over again and I'm told that I'm supposed to like it, I'm going to hate it and root for it to fail. Nothing against Zion or anything. Zion's a fantastic player. But I'm tired of watching them lose games horribly on national television, or the nationally televised games that they're getting are like type of games. So I'm tired of them being rammed down my throats. I'm tired of them being a subpar team, and Zion hasn't earned that yet. He's not Kobe, with like the 2015, 16, 17 Lakers or anything, coming off his Achilles injury and just how horrific that team was. He hasn't earned that. He hasn't deserved that. He's not going on a good farewell tour, and it's going to blow up in the NBA space because they always seem to try to find ways to get this team into the playoffs because they so desperately want that Zion versus LeBron playoff matchup. Well, guess what? I hope it never happens, and it never will happen, at least not this year, because they're not making it.
Okay. So, listen, the Pelicans, I don't see them making the playoffs right now. Zion looks like he's progressing a little bit. He's actually putting together a lot of nice games. The only problem is the team just isn't that good, okay? and the NBA jams them down our throat. I see the freaking Pelicans on national television more than I see teams like the Suns. I want to say the Suns, the Jazz, 100%. 100%. Jazz number one seed. I don't see them nearly as much as
and the Jazz are in a good game right now. Like, sorry to interrupt. I know we got to close, but they're headed to OT with the 76ers. Joel Embiid hit a really nice step back 3-pointer to force OT, and it's like that's a game everyone should be watching live right now on national TV. But no, I'm gonna watch Zion and the Pelicans lose by 20.
Yeah. You want to know what is live right now on national TV on ESPN? I got the Nets and the Rockets. I want to watch the Nets win by 20 points. Okay, I don't give a crap about James Harden coming back to Houston. Give me the Jazz and the Sixers. Like, what the hell is this? Oh, just ridiculous. The NBA's gotta do what the NFL does with their flex scheduling. They got to do the flex scheduling. Get those games in there where teams kind of surprise you, and then you throw them into the national TV slots, and we got to get that in here. So Adam Silver, call up Roger Goodell, whatever you got to do. Listen, where I work a butcher shop over in Bronxville, New York, in Westchester County. Roger Goodell is a customer of ours, so if you want, I'll get you two in touch, and we can get the ball rolling on that. All right, next time
should get him on for an interview sometime.
Yeah, I've thought about it. I don't see him much since COVID started because, he's a pretty important guy and he's probably like, I can't get COVID. I do see Mrs. Goodell a lot. So maybe I'll relay the message, but we will see about that. Anyway, all right, guys, thank you for joining us again this week for Toast Time. As always, don't forget to like and subscribe. Also, I want to say, go on our website. Go to vendettasportsmedia.com, find our blog page, click on the advertisement, go make a Symbol account, use our promo code Vendetta. You get a bonus $10 on your first deposit. And listen, it's an easy way to make money, in my opinion, if you know what you're doing. So, if you don't know what you're doing, I'll be coming out with articles. Don't worry. Listen to me. I'll make you some money. Okay. I will not fail you. So go do that. Great way to make money. Great way to get yourself involved in the stock market. And hey, you know what? NFL season comes around. You're going to be sitting there with tons of stocks of teams like the Giants, and it's only up from there. So, hey, it's better than gambling on the overs and unders. I will tell you that right now, 110%. So, anyway, guys, as always, thank you, and we will see you next time.